Greetings. Thank you, everyone. Carolyn Fowler, your California Federation president, state president, and DNC member, which is how we got to this subject. While we have two excellent speakers, one is from Alaska, one is in Virginia, not California. It's because the DNC at the Poverty Council, which I sit on, had the information, and I think it's critical. We need a ray of hope, and it's about the National Infrastructure Bank. So I'm going to introduce first Julie Olsen. Julie, you can wave. Hopefully, I can see you. There you
Hi,
go.
everyone.
She's a longtime Alaskan. She grew up in Anchorage and graduated from the Anchorage School District. See, this is, you'll notice, we have public schools. I'm your sister in crisis. I'm a government affairs for a school board member in Los Angeles. So all those today, I had those calls yesterday. Um, Julie also, fortunately for us, uh, she got her BS in economics and government from Smith College. She got an MBA from UAA and then spent her career in private sector business in Alaska and the Pacific Northwest. She is a passionate advocate. I have seen Julie on calls. She's been the HD chair, treasurer of the Anchorage Democrats on the AQ Dems Executive Committee, and has served as chair of the AQ Dems Progressive Caucus since 2016. She says she's retired, don't believe it. She has now been advocating for the creation of the National Infrastructure Bank, and that is, you can write that down, HR 452, which you're going to hear more about. The also to have with us Alphecca Muttardy. She has been with the International Monetary Fund, a senior economist, a senior desk economist for Ghana and Liberia. She's been our IMF resident representative to Ghana, also positioned at the ambassadorial level. She's also the professional macroeconomist and former senior economist for the IMF Fund, Chief Economic Advisor Coalition for the National Infrastructure Bank, and she's a member of the advisory board of the coalition. She's testified in many of the state legislatures, including New Mexico Senate, Nevada Legislature, Washington State Senate, Utah House, Alaska Senate, California Assembly, San Francisco Board of Supervisors, and the Seattle City Council. So one of the key things, there are 47 co-signers on this bill, 4052, and 17 of them are from our region. So I thought it's critically important that we know and understand all about this. And at that, I'm going to let Alphecca, are you going to lead it off or Julie?
I'll start and then I'll turn it over to Julie if that's
Thank
okay.
you.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Thank you very much. It's a real great honor to be here with all of you. I'd like to take a little bit of a pivot and try something new as a suggestion for where we can go with fighting the good fight and coming up with a positive policy that will really help Democrats to win back elections and start to get things done for Americans at large in Idaho and all of the West. So we have a bill in Congress. It is HR 4052. What the bill does is it creates a very large bank to fund infrastructure projects all across the country. Why we need one of those is because we have huge federal debt. We can't get these things funded any longer through the federal budget. State and local budgets don't have the money either. The Wall Street capital markets are not interested in funding these kinds of things. This bank will pick up the slack and do all of that. These are the 47 co-sponsors that Carolyn mentioned, and 17 of them from the Western states. This was a big beneficiary. The Western states were a big beneficiary when we had banks like this in the past. In fact, we've had 4 banks like this in the past, starting after the American Revolutionary War, going through the Great Depression and World War II. They were all similar in nature, off budget, public banks that built infrastructure and addressed economic crises at the time. the Civil War, the Great Depression. We were broke after the American Revolution. This last bank, I would like to point out two things. Everybody knows about the New Deal, but they don't know the critical role that a bank played in winning the Great Depression and solving the Great Depression and winning World War II. That was the Reconstruction Finance Corporation. The second thing is that bank built the West. Lincoln's Transcontinental Railroad, of course, got people out to the West, and this bank built power plants, factories, got water into California, without which it wouldn't have been a progressive state, one of the biggest economic boons around the country. So we've done this successfully 4 times before, and we want to have a fifth bank to do the same. This is what the bank covers. It covers 20 categories of infrastructure that are falling all apart across the country. We haven't made investments in infrastructure. It gets smaller and smaller and smaller in the federal budget, and states, again, can't handle this. So we now have trillions of dollars of needs across the country to repair transportation, water systems. The power grid is really straining because of growing populations and data centers, that kind of thing. We must have, in addition, high-speed rail, broadband, affordable housing. We have a housing crisis all along the Pacific coast, and even in rural areas too, and some large-scale water projects to address areas where we grow our nation's food. The Central Valley in California is really declining for lack of water. This infrastructure bank can fund all of these projects, fix everything in the country, but in addition, it can solve a fundamental problem with the economy because it can create 25 million new great-paying jobs. It can reshore American manufacturing much better than tariffs, for example, and it'll double GDP growth. And this will be equitable growth. In our view, what we noticed from the last election is that a serious problem with the Democratic platform was that it was a great start. The Bidenomics were a great start, but they were not big enough to actually reach the working class. This bank is big enough to fix everything and big enough to reach the working class. It'll reduce inflation, especially the cost of housing, and it will definitely reach rural areas, all of those that are mentioned in Idaho. It's a great platform for any campaign to say this is how we'll fix your pocketbook, your wallet, raise your wages, and lower your housing costs. So with that, I'll turn it over to Julie, and she can tell you something about the support for this bank.
Okay, thanks, Alphecca, and thanks everyone for the invite to meet with you here this morning. What I'm going to talk about is the reception that we've had around the country as we've done these presentations to multiple groups, to local legislators, to state legislators. And I want to say that the reception we get is uniformly positive when folks hear about this bank. So here you see a slide, some of our congressional co-sponsors. So from Washington, we're very happy to have Pramila Jayapal as a sponsor. You can see multiple luminaries there from California, Arizona, New Mexico. We have a very active group in Washington state that supports public banking in general. A lot of folks in California, and we're also doing work in Utah, in New Mexico, I've already mentioned, Oregon. So we recently had a meeting with a mayor of the 11th most populous city in Oregon, talking about the benefits of a national infrastructure bank. Next slide. So here are some of the legislatures that have introduced or passed resolutions. The state of Washington, my home state, Alaska, California. And I want to say that, again, the reception that we get is uniformly positive when we do the presentation to these states. And I think people really get it, that an institution like this has the ability to create long-term, significant structural change, I'd say improvement in our society. So with the ability to do things like financing affordable housing, providing financing for childcare facilities, improving our healthcare, community-owned health clinics and such. It really has the opportunity to provide the kinds of benefits that folks are looking for. Next slide. Some of the city and county councils that have passed the resolution. So this is just a small selection, but our folks are holding Zoom calls and meeting with people every week. And we're not just targeting blue states, although our 47 co-sponsors were all Democrats. We really, really believe that this should be a bipartisan bill. And so we've been doing multiple meetings and reaching out to Republicans across the country. And we're really hoping that soon we're going to get a Republican that's brave enough to sort of break ranks and actually sign up to be a co-sponsor. So we do actually have a lot of Republicans that are members of our coalition and participate in our Zoom calls and that sort of thing. But unfortunately, due to the extreme partisanship we have in our country, it's been a little challenging so far to get any Republicans to sign on as co-sponsors. Here's some endorsements that we've had from organizations around the country. You can see the National Association of Minority Contractors, the Asian Pacific American Caucus, the American Sustainable Business Council. So we have been reaching out and doing presentations to anyone that's interested. And as a consequence, over the years that our group has been working on this, we've really built a good level of support, grassroots support around the country. And that's one of the reasons we're here, is to see if we can get your organization on board with this and see if you can bring this home to your home districts as something to talk about. Is that all, or do we have another slide? Okay, so Democratic Party support. So the Alaska Dems supported it, the Washington Democrats, the New Mexico Democrats. We had the opportunity to do multiple presentations at the DNC for any of those folks who were there. It was very exciting. I think a really great convention. But we had the opportunity to do multiple presentations there. And again, it was a very well received idea. And I think one of the things that I found as we do these calls around the country is that people really want solutions. And it's one thing to complain about this thing's bad and that thing's bad, and I don't like this policy. But I think it's really important that we have a solution, a positive thing that we can put forth to say, here's something that we could work on, Republicans and Democrats and independents together, to really make the kind of change our country is looking for. And finally, we'll close it up with our little QR code here. So if you'd like more information, check out our website, and we would be happy to do a Zoom call for you and any interested folks in your part of the country. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Julie and Alphecca. I just want the body to understand I will be proposing and presenting for our meeting a resolution to support the National Infrastructure Bank. So again, thank you so much for bringing this information. I hope people appreciate it and can scan the QR code for more.
Thank you so much, Carolyn, and to these incredible women you brought. We need to get this into Nevada. I don't know why it's not there yet.